Recently, I've been thinking a lot about environment and how much this affects us as people. And I'm not just talking about where you physically live, but sometimes like the place that you work, maybe the environment in which you have a relationship in, or anything else in your life that's fundamental to who you are as a person. In my case, I've been thinking a lot about Phoenix, and I've mentioned this a few different times in other videos. It's like I've been here for 6 years now, and as time has went on, I've found it increasingly hard to find any moment of any part of the day in which you can just kind of get outside and be away from the noise, the people, and the crowd. Right now, it's 4:30 in the morning. There are already airplanes flying overhead. Yesterday, I went to Tonto National Forest to go and try to film some scenes, and I was going to talk there, but I couldn't because there were three flight paths over me, and I couldn't even find more than like a 35 to 40-second gap worth of time in which airplanes were not flying overhead. And if that wasn't happening, then people were walking by and talking to me. There's a trolley in the back over here that runs every 10 to 15 minutes. People are revving their cars up and racing on the highways and such. And just for context, yesterday when I was outside filming, I was probably 45 minutes outside of the city. And yet I was still in a position where I could not find quiet. I feel like at this point, and with how the sprawl has happened here in Phoenix, like I don't know how to find anywhere in which you could just be away and be alone. And so I started thinking a lot about the environment and started thinking like, is this a place that works for me? I know a lot of people like me that just like to, when they get off work, go be by themselves, or maybe go sit in a park or go for a walk and do something to kind of decompress. But it's hard to decompress when you feel like every single place in your environment does the opposite of that and just adds more stress, load, and just noise and things to your life. It's one of these things where I'm now in my mid 30s. When I was in my early 20s, I was a lot more forgiving of things. I'd say, oh, it's okay. Everyone feels like this. Or everybody else, deals with a job, that the environment they don't like, or everyone else lives in a place that they just kind of tolerated. But I don't think that's true, because for every time you find someone that just is okay and they just lean into the comfort and they just stay where they are because they don't want to change, you find someone else that is okay with change and wanting to do something better for their life too. Sometimes what happens is I find myself going back to positions and things that I used to do when I was younger because it's all that I really knew. But then you realize there's a reason that you left those environments and things in the first place. Recently, I accepted a job just to kind of like pay bills and have a little extra funds and stuff on the side. And then I'm starting to be reminded of why I've left environments like these. Corporate environments specifically. I have never worked in a corporate environment that I've liked. Some people like it because they like the structure, they like the clear path of knowing what their KPIs are, knowing the same systems to use, knowing how to email, follow up, and put some headphones in, sit there and do your admin work. Other people hate that because it feels constricting and it just puts you into a box. I'm in the latter group. So I took this job because I thought, okay, well, this is a good way for me to get some stability back in my life as I'm building my YouTube channel, as I'm trying to get out here and do more things with this. But then I'm really quickly reminded of why this environment does not work for me as a person. There's a lot of people in my position that when they get online, they post to Reddit, they post to other forums and things, and they say, am I crazy? Am I alone in feeling like this? And then you see people get on top and say, this is just how life is. It's okay, you get used to it, or you just find joy outside of work. And I hear this stuff, but I don't agree with it, because I think that if you were so bogged down for let's say 8 hours of your day, you get an hour lunch, that's 9 hours of your day, 5 days a week, and then you add in a 30-minute commute both ways, that's a 10-hour commitment, then you come home and you're drained. How do you really live your life and do it in a way that feels fulfilling and happy to you? I have not found that recipe. I know people that can do this. I'm not one of them. This message is more to people that feel kind of like me in this, in which maybe you don't like corporate environments, maybe you don't like where you live, maybe you don't like the relationships that you're in your life, whether it's familiar, romantic, anything else. I think sometimes it's important to ask yourself the question of how much your environment really affects you. And like I mentioned before, when I was in my 20s, I really just kind of like pushed it off to the side because everyone else is telling me you're just supposed to be okay with this. This is just how life is. Life is not like that if you choose to not have it like that. And even in this age right now, I'm 34, I'm still at a point where I'm having to teach myself this lesson over and over again and saying, hey man, you worked at 4 different companies that were like this. Why is the 5th going to be different? Maybe the specific tasks and things that you do in your environment for work are a little bit different, or the goal of the company's different, but corporate America is corporate America. Maybe this city is different than that city, but a city is still a city. If you like to be out in rural America and be in farmland and kind of like quiet and not a lot of people, I don't know how you're really going to force yourself into a position where you can live in a city and feel happy doing that. For a long time, I lived in Illinois, Missouri, in the Midwest, and then I moved to California, and I've been here in Phoenix too. When I first moved to Phoenix, it wasn't as busy as it is now, and now it's just unbelievably overrun by people, and it's just more and more people every day. This environment does not work for me. I think that a lot of us try to tell ourselves that we can just eventually fit into our environments if they don't work for us, if we just give it more time. But enough time does not just all of a sudden make something that doesn't work with you work. What works is putting yourself in a position that's something that's aligns with you as a person. I remember when I used to live back in the Midwest and I thought, oh, this place is kind of boring. I wish there was more like restaurants, or I wish there was more like festivals or things to do. And that was true in certain part. But I think that when you get to a place in which has a lot more offerings like this, like there's a lot of stuff like this that goes on in Phoenix, you realize that maybe it's not the most important thing. At least it wasn't for me. I think I've really realized that as I've gotten older, I value that separation from just most of society and dealing with all of the noise and the clutter and the things around me like this. It's what helps me stay sane, and it's what leans directly into my creativity when it comes to these videos and stuff too. Sometimes I don't even know how I get out here and make these videos because I realize like my environment is bogging me down so much that I just don't know how I get out here and press record. But I try to do it because I never know who's on the other side of the screen and how this benefits you. And I also want people to know that even as I struggle and go through things, I'm not the only one. And if you feel similar to this, then maybe you can see part of yourself in this to understand that even if everyone else around you just tries to constantly tell you to force yourself in this position and just keep pushing, put your head down, this is how it is, that maybe that's not always the best advice for you. Maybe it's the best advice for them, but advice for one person doesn't always work for somebody else. Sometimes you have to find people that are where you want to be, not find people that have nothing to do with where you want to go in your life. Why would you take advice from somebody that's not a position in life where you want to be? If you want to be an entrepreneur, why are you listening to people in corporate America? If you want to work in corporate America and climb your way to be an executive, why are you listening to entrepreneurs? It's like you have to find people that have done things that you want to do in life to get the advice from them. Don't listen to people that have nothing to do with where you want to go in your life. For me, like a lot of people, if I mention Phoenix and I don't like this place, they say, oh, it's okay, like it has all these great things and stuff, but like that's great for them, but it's not great for me. What's great for me is being able to go out into a mountain town somewhere, go on a hike, maybe be the only person I see for the first few hours, go camping, and just kind of sit down, relax, and enjoy my life in a slow-paced way like that. I don't work well in fast-paced environments. And I've known this for over a decade, and yet what I did was I listened to people that told me it was okay and that this is just normal. And so then I just pushed my needs down until eventually they resurface, because they always resurface. Because when it's something that's true to you, it's never gonna go away. You can only suppress it for so long, but it will come back. The biggest message I wanna say in this video is that you don't have to listen to people around you that are trying to get you to emulate their life. You should take a step back and listen to yourself and ask yourself what makes you happy in your life instead, not them. Other people have the chance to live their life and do what they want. Why shouldn't you? It's not easy to change your environment. It's not easy to sit there and say, all right, I'm gonna pick up and move tomorrow, or I'm just gonna quit this job and go get another job. I know it's hard to find jobs. I know it's hard to figure out where you want to go. I know it's logistically difficult. I know it's expensive. And in today's economy, it's more difficult than I've ever experienced in my entire lifetime. So I'm not saying to go implode your entire life today and just thinking it's all going to work out tomorrow. I'm in a similar position to you. I want to pick up and leave here, but logistically, I can't do it right now. But even though I can't do it right now, it doesn't mean I can't start planning and starting off with the most important thing, which is the thought of doing it and giving yourself the opportunity mentally to start preparing for thinking about changing your environment. Every single action in life starts with a single thought. So today, I hope that this video can at least serve as a way to give you the ability to have that thought, because having that thought is one step closer to where you want to go than where you may be right now. You can do it. I can do it. And I hope that a year from now, when I'm making videos, I'm no longer having to deal with the cityscape and dealing with the people and the crowds and the noise and the airplanes and all this stuff. I hope that instead I'm filming these videos from somewhere like in the Pacific Northwest, or somewhere up in North Carolina, or somewhere that I can be in nature and things that really bring me back to what is the essence of my soul. And if you ever feel like you're alone with this stuff, you're not. Keep watching these videos. I'm gonna keep trying to speak to people that this resonates with. It will all get better. I used up all my time before the airplanes start flying over. I don't have a watch on, but I got about 60 seconds probably left until they start happening. Thanks for rocking with me. I appreciate every single one of y'all. Look forward to seeing y'all next one. Take care for now. Peace.